Hello, this is part 1 of the Zelda Majora's Mask All Dungeons Restricted tutorial. This tutorial is intended for players of all levels, so both beginners, people who did some Majora's Mask, who did a lot of Majora's Mask, or nothing at all. You will find the route document for this speedrun category in the description, along with tons of other useful resources for you to learn this category and learn specifically what is in today's part. And so we will go look at what I have in store for you for this part in particular, and we'll also summarize how the overall full complete tutorial will look like. As a new speedrunner to either the game Zelda Majora's Mask or to the category, specifically All Dungeons Restricted, you will have questions that come by once in a while that you will want to ask, and here are some places where you can ask. One place is the Majora's Mask Speedrun Discord. Another place is the tutorial parts YouTube comments. So if you have a question about what's going on at some place or whatever, you can ask there, and if I see it, then I'll gladly try to answer it. And the last one, that's more, I think, like a lot of people would do the first one, like answer questions in Discord or answer YouTube comments. For the last one, that's maybe more personal. Some other people will be completely fine with it, but it depends. Is during my live stream, so I sometimes do practice on stream, and so that'd be a great time to ask me questions, since I could actually just pause practice and show you a trick while I'm live. So some other people will answer questions, including myself, during runs. It's just be respectful about the fact a runner is focusing on other stuff right now. So also stay respectful about it, and then I'll be glad to answer your questions either on the YouTube comments or during live streams, and some others will too. Just be mindful about how you go about asking questions in any of these social media. And so yeah, so we will find a way to get help if you need it to improve and make sense of tricks or strats or anything or optimizations for this speedrun and any other Zelda Majora's Mask speedrun. So now we are going to look at a summary of the All Dungeons Restricted route we are going to follow. It will be divided into 5 cycles. The first one is Cycle 1, where we have lots of cutscenes, where we are as Deku. We'll be collecting lots of rupees for Cycle 2, and then eventually depositing them. We will be getting magic from the Great Fairy in Clocktown. After that, we will be skipping the Moon's Tier, and then retrieving our Ocarina stolen by the Skull Kid, and then perform our first save with the Ocarina and Song of Time. For Cycle 2, we will begin by getting the Bomb Bag and some Bomb Chews. Then we will already do a sequence break by going straight to Great Bay with Bomb Hovers to get Zora Mask. That's the cutscene preceding getting Zora Mask is a very good bathroom break. We will then hit some owl statues in Great Bay, do an out of bounds to get to Ikana. Then from Ikana, we'll get to Woodfall to go get the red potion bottle from the witches. Then we will go get Sonata of Awakening in Deku Palace. We will then be collecting lots of Zora eggs to enter Great Bay Temple and fight Gaiord, following by a fight against Adalwa. For Cycle 3, we will be skipping the lullaby from the baby Goron, so Goron Lullaby is going to be skipped. We will then go through all of Snowhead Temple to then fight Goat. Already you can see from Cycle 2 and Cycle 3 that bosses will be done out of order. You will see eventually why we have so many cycles in this run. Some cutscene skips after bosses justify it. For Cycle 4, we'll be skipping the Elegy of Emptiness, so we won't be seeing the King of Ikana. Then we'll be going through Stone Tower, when we'll have 2 ways of climbing Stone Tower before we do it. Then we will do Inverted Stone Tower, and finally fight its boss, Twin Mold. For Cycle 5, we will not need to wait until midnight of the final day to enter Clock Tower. We will just hover inside Clock Tower, and the loading zone will still take us to Skull Kid, and we'll be able to get to the moon right away. But first, we'll have to go through a long cutscene, which is another very good bathroom break for the run. And finally, get to Majora, beat Majora, and finish the speedrun. Let's look at the techniques and strats that we will need for today's part. Today, we will need to know about backwalking. We will also need to know about quick turnaround. We'll also talk about roll timing, the fact that backflips and side hops have variable length in Zelda Majora's Mask. We'll also talk about how to properly mash text, which is very important at the start of this game and throughout a lot of the cutscenes. We'll also talk about a very, very important trick in Zelda Majora's Mask, which is pause buffering, that will be very important for some cutscene skips and to make some tricks more accessible to players of all levels. And we will talk about gainers, which will be used at the end of Cycle 1. Alright, today we will be focusing on Cycle 1 and pre-Clocktown, so we will be getting some rupees across Cycle 1. We'll be getting some magic. For that we'll need a Stray Fairy. We will be again skipping Moonsteer, and then finishing the cycle by collecting the Ocarina and doing our first save to bring us to Cycle 2. So that's the plan for today. Then first cycle is fairly simple, so don't expect the other parts to be a single video each. But first cycle just happens to fit that table here very nicely. Hello, we are now going to talk about file creation to start a Zelda Majora's Mask speedrun, and about how to properly start the timer. So first, if you have a file here, if you already have a file here, then you would want to go and delete it. If you have no file in file 1, then that's good, because we are required as of now, this is June 2021 as I'm recording this, to do runs from a completely new save file. So we need to show save file creation when starting a Zelda Majora's Mask speedrun. For most categories, the length of the file name will not matter. So in this case, Majora's Mask will display Link's name in a single frame instead of frame by frame like in Ocarina of Time. There is at least one exception to this in this game, but in this category, it's not a problem. We do not encounter the exception here. So any file name that goes to the maximum number of letters, I feel like keeping that file name, but I shouldn't. Any length is gonna work, so that's completely fine. So I'm just gonna call it ADR because this is the ADR tutorial. And you are going to start your timer at the same time as you press A to begin your playthrough, or in this case, your run. So the moment you press A here is when you hit start on the timer, like this. And the timer starts. And in this case, we are thrown into gameplay quite quickly because I am playing on the Zelda codes. The Zelda codes are going to skip or shorten some cutscenes so we can focus more on practice. And so don't worry, right now we're actually going to go back through the actual first cutscene so we can talk a bit about text mashing. Alright, so we will watch the intro cutscene here because it's a good place to talk about how to text mash in this game. So in Zelda Majora's Mask, you can advance text by pressing A, pressing B, and C up. So what we will want to do is mash A, B, and C up. So the faster you alternate between those three, the better for a lot of the cutscene text boxes. That will cover a lot of situations where we cannot fast forward through the text boxes, and you will know you have properly mashed your text when, instead of seeing the blue triangle or square at the bottom of the text box, it'll just skip to the next one. So that will save, I think, a frame per text box if you do your text mashing properly. And we'll talk about the other kind of text mashing later on. So here, so we got this one, got that one too. So that's pretty good text mashing. So out of those 3-4 text boxes, we got the 4 first ones. I'll try to go a bit slower just to like fail one and show you what it looks like. And sometimes I end up doing that. I just like go on autopilot and keep mashing even when I don't need to. Don't do that. Still got that one. Okay, I'm just gonna mash with two buttons. So here we saw the triangle, and here obviously if we wait too long we see the square, and then let's go slowly again. There you go. So it's still here we didn't mash properly because we got to see the square at the end. So if you mash this way, you will get through a lot of text boxes optimally. At least those that don't scroll fast. So we have some text boxes that can't scroll fast, and we will be talking about that when we do encounter them. Alright, we are now on the practice code, so if you see me do things like levitate, or just fast forward like this, and make link rungs super quickly, or just reload my position, that is normal. That's because we're using practice codes right now. So a couple of things we'll need already is a couple of movement optimizations we'll do. So in this game, when we don't use glitches, Link's fastest way of movement and most consistent one will be backwalking. So we'll be using that quite a lot throughout Zelda Majora's Mask speedruns. Technically, frame perfect side hops should be at least as fast, if not faster, than backwalking. I don't remember the exact speed values, but you need your side hops to be frame perfect for that to occur, so we won't really spam that everywhere. And one way to make backwalking more efficient is with what's called quick turnaround. So how you do quick turnaround is you hold L very briefly, flick down, and then hold L again, and then Link should instantaneously turn around, and then you can start a backwalk out of that camera flip, and make backwalk start a bit faster. So we save a couple of frames each quick turnaround. Let me show you again. You might get an inverted camera, so let me try to get an inverted camera just for you. So yeah, you might get something like that. So that's an inverted camera. In some situations, it's okay if you get one, but the way the camera works from moving from one part of a map to another might make your camera screw up because of the inverted camera. So I don't recommend doing that. I really don't recommend doing that for backwalking, and really stick to just quick turnarounds or just normal flip the camera and start backwalking. So inverted cam, I really don't recommend. It's fun, it looks neat, but it has its flaws. It's useful for SRM setups, but for basic movement, try to avoid it. That's my opinion on this. Alright, specifically, for all dungeons restricted, when you start, you will orient yourself towards the tunnel. Quick turnaround, I failed this one. And then start backwalking. So let's do it again. Adjust. Get an inverted cam, try again. Dude, I keep getting inverted cam. Get this, start backwalking. And then, let me pause. Then, when you cross the tunnel, you will keep backwalking until you hear this camera adjustment sound. And when you hear that, you will release L, hold down for a roll, and press A to roll, and then retarget so that you're facing the good way. So let's see how that looks. And now you're facing forward, you just jump on these 3 ones, and you can roll for the last platforms. And that's how we get to that loading zone that will then turn us into a Deku Scrub. Depending on what RNG route you're comfortable with, you will want to do one of 3 things. Either if you're really not comfortable with the RNG that comes from Rupee management, you can collect a 100 rupees chest in East Clock Town at the end of the first cycle, and that's the beginner strat. You're going to lose some time to loading transitions, but it's safe. You'll be able to get attempts across and get runs going. So for beginners, you can go for that. I'll show it when we get there in the run. I'll show the actual option when we get to it. If you are willing to go for RNG strats, what you can do is just start this segment here normally, so quick turn around, get through the loading zone, and just keep going and ignore these bushes here. And just get 90 rupees in Terminus Field and across Clock Town during first cycle, and hope that RNG is on your side. However, if you're not a beginner player, but you still don't like the RNG in first cycle, you can grab a couple rupees here. I try to go for something like at least 5 rupees. So like this, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get all the rupees I need later on, most of the time. So here I got that's pretty good for me. If I got 9 here, I would definitely continue. I would even stop at like 5 or 6, and then just keep going. I would not be backwalking here, but for Rupee management, that's the first consideration. So if you want to go for something that's kind of fast, but not too risky in my opinion, you can go for that first patch of bushes here. Just cut them until you're happy. So 5 to 10 should be fine. You don't need too many. And then get out and go get turned into a Deku Scrub. And if you really want to go fast and are ready to reset runs to bad Rupee RNG, which shouldn't happen at the start, you should just get the rupees and get to the next cycle. Then you can just ignore these and just continue. Alright, so this cutscene is gonna play now. It's going to be a lot shorter because I'm on Zelda codes. But essentially here you would just keep tech smashing. And we'll talk about the other method for mashing text later on. Well, the codes still have a couple of text boxes, I guess, for like some coding constraint. And then you would just turn around here. Stop the target a bit before the door. And then enter here. And here you would roll. Try to stick to your right. You would have some more text to mash through here. Then here you have 2 options. You can either just go directly in that flower and cross the gap. So that's the usual. Then try to land as close to the edge here as possible. Then, if you're fast, if you do it well, you could land 2 spins here. So here it's important, try not to mash your spin, so let's talk a bit about that now. When you Deku spin, you don't want to be necessarily mashing them. You can, but one cue I like to just like leave it a bit easier on my hands is to repress A when Link is facing and about to restart walking. This little timing here. Okay, failed that one. Okay, so that's that crossing here where, let's do it again. Let's do it properly this time. Where you go across in the flower, that's your first option. Try to land as close to the edge as possible. If you're able to, 2 spins and then you enter that room. other option is to just go down here and land directly in that flower holding A. So I'm gonna get it. So here, as you land on the flower, or even as you're falling down to the flower, hold A in the air and keep holding it when you land on it, and Link is gonna automatically dive into the flower, and then you can just release and get here, roll, and get to the door. So this one is a bit harder to time, but it's a bit faster. So more advanced players try to go for that. And there we go. So what's cool is because you can kind of move in the air, you can adjust it and find your own feel for it. Not sure, I'm not going to spend more time on it, but that's an option if you really want to look for little things to optimize. And that would be that for this room. Moving on, we would get here, we would go inside the Deku Flower here. Usually, casually, you're intended to kind of go through here, then go there, but that is slow. So what we're going to do instead is dive inside that flower. So here, I'm taking the opportunity to show you what happens when you don't hold A for long enough. So you need to hold A until Link shoots gas out of the flower, and then you can release. And then you're going to have the flowers in your hands, and you'll be able to fly across. Let's show you again. And then now we can go. And you're going to fly to that corner here. And then if you're able to, you don't have to do that, but you can keep holding forward, side hop, and actually skip that little text box that we just saw there. Let's show you again. Hold here. Just gonna do it till I get it. So hold forward. And there you go. You skip one text box. Not a big time save, but it's kind of cool to go for it. So if you're looking for optimizations, that's one you can do. Let me just fix that. Again, we're using the codes here. So if you go too early, you're going to get the text box activated. But if you go just at the right moment, you're going to land in. And then you're going to go through Butler's Son. Try to land here as close as possible as you can to the edge. And then don't roll here, because if you try to roll right now, you'll be talking or interacting with the Butler's Son. And so, yeah, that's a little time loss. We don't want that. So you're going to keep holding forward until you get attack icon, or the attack action on the A button. And then you can roll again and enter that loading zone. And that's going to take us through, I guess, the Clock Tower's basement, or the Clock Tower's sewers, or something. Okay, so once you cross the corridor here that is twisting and essentially taking you from Hyrule to Termina, you're just going to spin forward. Just spin up there. Some people do side hops, you don't have to. Then you can either go the full way around, or what I like to do is do a little backflip here. And then what you're going to do is align with the left half of this twisting pillar here, or system. No, it's not twisting, it's spinning. So that you can aim for the edge of the door that's on our right here. So you will want to backwalk until, I think this third step is when it starts. Yeah, so you want to backwalk until the end of the second step, and then start buffering frames, but continue backwalking. And that will be our first cutscene skips. You want to buffer frame by frame. If you pass 2 frames while you're inside the Happy Mask Salesman cutscene trigger, you are going to activate the cutscene and will have to either tank a big time loss or just reset the run depending on your level. So you don't have to reset here. There's no one forcing you to do so. It's just at a certain level, it's a very bad time loss to start runs with. But you do what you want here. It's just that's a very standard cutscene singular. So what you do is you target here, backwalk to the second step, try to time that, press pause, and now start pause buffering until the frame we're going to see earlier. Well, not earlier, later. Gosh, I can't talk. So pause buffer until you're here. So that frame, you should be able to stop holding target, buffer one frame like I just did, and then keep buffering. So we might have gotten a door troll, so sometimes the door is gonna... Oh no, that's fine. And there you go, we make it inside Clock Town. Here, that's normal if we made it to go here because of the practice code. So holding start kind of sets your warp value for the code, but we should actually be in Clock Town right now, so don't worry about that, that's normal. And so that is how you skip the Happy Mask Salesman cutscene. You're not going to be landing in Goat area here, you're going to be landing in Clock Town, and that's what we want. So, alright, let's get to that. Alright, so that's a file where I already watched a cutscene here. So on the Nintendo 64, for the Japanese version, you will want to reset right now. I'm doing it with codes. What the frick, man? Oh my god, what is it doing? Okay. Okay, sorry, so the codes are messing up right now, don't worry about it. So you will want to reset right after seeing the South Clock Town text. Why? Because you skip the end of that little cutscene here and the interaction with Tattle, so you skip mashing through a couple of text boxes. But, however, Virtual Console resets are too slow. So if you're on Virtual Console here, on Japanese version, you do not want to reset. But up to mashing a couple text boxes, this is very similar. So once you get back to this state, whether you're on N64 or VVC, the same thing follows. So let me save a state here. We'll save a mem file. You're going to tap forward while holding L and then start side hopping. And side hopping left, you can hold slightly left going down. Left slightly going down to angle yourself towards the loading zone and make sure you hit it. Then you'll want to enter that Deku flower, so just spin to it, align, start looking kind of up, kind of towards that wall, there, the big chest. And then dive into the flower, align, and hold L as you go out, angle left down so you can dodge the wall, and then back walk. And then you're going to open this door. You open the door, hold left L, then side hop by holding slightly up left, so up slightly left. Let's do it again. So hold left, hold L, side hop by holding up because of Link's angle. One last time. It can kind of be confusing first few times. Okay, so now the game's not happy. Hold left, side hop down the stairs, roll a bit, and we're gonna go see Grandma. Now we're going to do another kind of text mashing with text boxes that go and end up scrolling on their own. So if I tap B here, text is going to move faster. So you have to be careful, not all text boxes do this. You have those that can only be mashed with A, B, and C up and can't be scrolled faster, but there you have the tap B ones, then tap A a couple times after to make them scroll through faster. So here we're just going to clear through these. You're going to select that option here, that's going to make Grandma tell you a story that lasts until the next morning. And then the moment you see a character show up on the left of the text box, you will tap B and then try and time A for the last text box. So don't mash A and B here. This is not an A, B plus C up mash text box. It's a tap B, get to the left, let it scroll to the last text box, and then press A. Like this. So you activate that with A, B, only press A at the end. Then tap B, A again. Actually here you can skip that last text box really easily and not even get the blue box at the end. So tap B, press A, select again to get to now to day 3. Tap, press A, tap, press A, and now you're at the last day out of the 3 mornings for cycle. Now we're gonna leave the inn. So go out, adjust to your right, and then start side hopping, and then open the door. Let's do it again. So leave, tap right, hold L, start side hopping. You can stop holding L as you cross the counter, and then just go for the door. Wait, let's go again. Okay, now that is making it day 3. Leave. Just doing it a bit slower so you can see. Tap this way. Slide hop. Cross the counter. Stop holding L. Go for the door. Open it. And you're out. Now you're going to make your way to West Clocktown. You're just gonna spin through here. Gonna make sure the dog doesn't attack you, and you won't get close to the Deku flower. So that yellow Deku flower here, you don't want to be getting near it because it will activate a cutscene where the business scrub will enter the flower. Here you have to be careful. If you're lucky, you can just start doing spins to get to this shop. Otherwise, if you're not lucky, let's show what happens if you're out of luck. You're here and you might just talk to Bomber Kid, and that's slow. And that loses a fair bit of time, and you don't want that happening. So if he's not there, if he's not in the way, then you just spin to that door. Otherwise, you wait till you're past him to start spinning, and you enter here. Then you ignore that man at the counter, and you're just going to interact with the Scarecrow. And then you're going to select the second option that stands for yes. If you hit no, then he's gonna cross his arm, being kind of like, I don't know, tell you something, which I can't read right now because I don't read Japanese. And you're not gonna get what you want, which is getting to night 3. So that will take us to night 3, and we'll almost be ready to enter Clock Tower. There will only be 6 in-game time hours to entering Clock Tower. And so you'll be selecting yes here. Interesting thing, you have a couple of frames of control here. They don't have anything useful, but here if I mash A after this passes by, you actually have 1 frame of control or 2. Oh, didn't get it, but you can land like a little Deku spin here or something. So now you're at night 3, you're gonna quickly leave this place. We're gonna Deku spin out of here. Be careful, Bomber Kid might be in your way. Then you're gonna go back to East Clocktown, and we're going to let me save the memory. We're gonna do some branching here. So you have 2 options here. So first and foremost, this is not part of the branching. You are going to go get that stray fairy. You need it to finish the cycle. Didn't get it this time. Let's just try again. And land on it. Here you have 2 options. Either after that, after getting the stray fairy, you just go back into Deku Flower and just get back to the inn and get the 100 rupees chest. Or you go in Terminate Field and get more rupees from the grass. So that depends on your rupee route. So let's go show you where that chest is. So enter the Deku Flower, align. Now I wasn't holding L properly, so that's what happens when you don't hold L properly. Start angling towards the back. It's fairly lenient. It's been way too kind to me before. Ignore that Bomber Kid, don't interact with him. So if you go in for Deku spins here, you will want to be careful about not talking to the Bomber Kid. Again, that can make you lose time with the text. You grab that chest here. Just leave. So here that is slower because the in-game time is not advancing when you are going through loading zones or transition zones, like opening doors or just loading a new area completely. So that's why this is fairly slow in glitch categories. And so our other option, as I mentioned earlier, was to go in Terminate Field. But usually the guards are blocking you, but this guard was not placed properly, so there's a bit of a gap between that wall there and the guard. So you can just backwalk, and it's hard to describe. You're kind of squeezing past him, just enough so that he starts freaking out, and then you can go. And then you start cutting grass. Then so that the one we just did is the first one you'll go through. Then you will backwalk to the second one. I'm gonna stop numbering them because I'm probably gonna lose track. And you hope to get 90 rupees. Just spin to these ones. I think you could land a backwalk here, but I think I think Kiko_25, who's world record holder for this category, just spins to them. Not all of them, but a lot of them, so then you go cut these. So 67 right now is pretty good. The in-game time is bad because I've been explaining lots of things. But right now the rupees are actually really nice. And then you align... Tattle, leave me alone. You align between that pillar and this little ledge here, this little like bump that you need to climb, and then you backwalk. Don't see up. You don't need to see up to do that. And just backwalk, make sure you don't hit the pillar. And then if you need to, there's another group of bushes here. Oh, okay, so that's our 90. So if you need more, just backwalk to the next one, which would be here. And if not, you can just align, backwalk, and then side hop in here. And that takes you here. Then we're going to be late for... oops, camera, bad. We're going to be late for midnight, but don't worry about that. Here, just backwalk, side hop, 2 side hops, 1 backflip, and then start spinning. So let's show that again. So, flick up to be facing that way, backwalk, backflip, side hop twice, backflip, spin towards the loading zone. And then here you can either backwalk or spin. I'm really not sure what's fastest. I think feels backwalking is faster, but I never actually timed it. So either way, if you really care, go to the timing. Either way, this is not really going to prevent you from achieving your goals, in my opinion. But as long as you have a strat that's not just walking here, you're fine. And there you go, we get magic here. And here, we have to be careful. So this is on the practice codes, but in the actual game here, you would have a couple of these tap B plus mash A cutscenes. So be careful about the text here. So this one is press B plus hold plus press A at the end. Text boxes that are going to auto scroll for a little while. So not all of them, but some of these for the Great Fairy are. And then this is midnight, so Clock Tower is going to open. This is opening faster because of the Zelda codes. And then we just wait for that cutscene to go through, and then we're going to finish first cycle. This is reloading the cutscene, okay. So here you just backwalk out of here. Wait, actually, let me show you. Let me show that to you properly. So here, backwalk. So don't worry about the stray fairies. That's just the codes messing up on me. Well, you would just backwalk out of here. Just spin to the right. Then you would flick up upon entering here. So flick up. Then you hold L. Backwalk. Don't press start here. It's just to give you time to catch up. That will take you straight here. Spin a bit. You can look at some side hop optimization, but I'm really bad at this one here. And then you're just going to deposit 90 rupee. So you go left, down quickly. And there you go. So you have a couple of tab B plus press A text boxes. And then once the rupees are deposited, you make it to Clock Tower, which will take us to another strat right before the end of first cycle. Alright, so you spin here, and then we're going to explain Gainer in my next cut. Alright, we will now explain how to perform a Gainer for this part. So Gainers help you grab ledges higher than what Link is supposed to reach. So Deku Link here is not supposed to grab this ledge, but with this strat here, with the Gainer, where you target the wall here, or I guess the little ledge, target, backflip, retarget the ledge, and Link is gonna grab onto it. So it looks like this. Wait a sec, we're just gonna reload that. So just target, so the inputs are hold L, release L, backflip out of holding L, and then retarget the ledge. So let's show you on the input viewer. So hold L. First, so that's frame 1. Frame 2 is release L and hold down plus A to backflip. And now Link will be untargeted in an untargeting state, and then you will retarget on the frame after. So that's for a 1-frame gainer. So this trick, when you is frame perfect, and already I'm telling you that this one is frame perfect, but we already have an exception to this, which is gainers near corners. So gainers and corners actually have 2 frames. So I'm doing these unbuffered, and this might be difficult at the start when you do it. But let's look at these buffered, and then if buffered ones are too hard and practicing the unbuffered ones takes a lot of time, then don't worry about it. You can just learn a little backup here instead while you're ready for actual gainers, and it shouldn't lose much time really. But first, let's go through the buffered gainers. So target a ledge, press up, stop holding L, hold down, and while holding down, buffer an A press. So you want a single frame to pass. And then in the on pause lag, you want to be holding L again. And then that's going to complete the gainer. And there you go. Gainer completed. Frame perfect gainer completed. And the backup strat is the following. So the backup strat is just go here, target this this way, and just backflip and quickly let go of everything, and you should grab on to the ledge. And there you go. You can do that instead. If gainer is a bit difficult at the start, no worries, practice them, and when you're ready, do them. But before that, you can just do this strat. So thank you to Zunar SR for the strat here in his glitchless tutorial. Wait, let's do it again. Well, I'm just gonna restart all this. I'm just gonna restart the summary. Okay, so to sum it up, you have frame perfect gainers. You have 2 frame gainers. You have frame perfect gainers where you buffer. So target the ledge or the wall. Release L, hold down, and buffer an A press. And then after that, hold L during the unpause lag. And there you go, gainer completed. Alright, let's show you now a buffered 2-frame gainer. I think we'll try to avoid that. I think you can try and do them unbuffered or find backups. Zuner SR also has a C-up backup strat for gainers. I will link to it when we need to, when we reach cycle 3 and after, if we need to get another 100 rupee chest. I'll do that then, but until then you can wait for the backups. I'll only giving you those, the buffered, unbuffered, and target this wall backup here. But for now, I'll show you the buffered 2-frame just for those who are curious. Otherwise, you can skip if you're happy with what you had so far. So again, target this wall, hold up, press A in the unpause lag, and buffer the frame. Here, this frame would work, but that frame will also work. And there you go, that's a 2-frame gainer. For first frames, that frame where Link starts twisting is not going to work. And Deku Link has that strange tendency to twist during backflips. And that makes the gainers a bit odd at the start for Deku Link, but they'll end up being consistent with practice. So, alright, let's keep going. Here you would just spin up the clock tower. Okay, so here, I think most text boxes for Tattle would be AB plus C up mashing. You would have tap B plus press A for some of Skull Kid's text boxes. And then you would want to get the Ocarina back. So here you would target Skull Kid, charge a bubble as you move towards Skull Kid, and release the bubble. And as the bubble is going towards Skull Kid, you could then start spinning towards Skull Kid to get closer to the Ocarina. So that's gonna look like this. Then the Ocarina falls down, and here do not spin to the Ocarina, that makes it harder to get, just walk to it. And then you would split once the Ocarina is in the air, and then you would go and start the cutscene here. I'm gonna take that opportunity to load my splits. I forgot to do that because I had to do some cuts. Majora's Mask, all dungeons restricted, and there we go. And then you would just smash through more of the text. Then you would come back to the clock tower, back from the flashback. You would mash some text. Press start, take out Ocarina. Don't worry here about the Deku Mask. That's because I had to re-record this part. I lost that part of the footage originally for some reason. Mash here. In the English version, you would just play Song of Time right away. But in the Japanese version, you have to pull out the Ocarina a second time before you can play Song of Time. When you play Song of Time, you will try to play it with the X, Y, Z, and A buttons. You will try to avoid C-stick for songs. It's faster in general to do it with the buttons, unless you're on N64 with an N64 controller, then just use the C buttons, we have them. And then you would press A, and right after pressing A, the game saves in 1 frame, so you'll be able to just reset. So you, on a console, you just press the reset button. Here, I'll show you with the practice code combination. So right away, so that saved the game. And now we have resetted the game. And we just go back here. And if you see a 2 there, that means you have properly saved, and now we would just go see the Happy Mask Salesman. So don't worry about that, that's because of the practice codes. They always put that cutscene back so you can practice it. Or something like that, I'm not sure. And then you would talk to the Happy Mask Salesman. Here you, I think, only have C up and A-B mashing text boxes, and once you're queried to do so, play the Song of Healing so you can learn it and then use it later on in the run. Then, after a bit of extra text boxes, you're going to get the Deku Mask. You're going to go through a bit more text boxes. You almost have a bathroom break on the Japanese version here when Happy Mask Salesman starts talking about the dangers of Majora's Mask. And once you're done, you target, backwalk right before the door. I'm going to show you after Happy Mask Salesman stops bugging me. So do it again. Well, that lets me show it again. So you hold L, backwalk, and once you're near the door, stop holding L, hold forward, and enter the loading zone. And that is the end of what we call first cycle. So first cycle officially ends when you press A to save, but in our mind, in philosophy, first cycle, so the long, never-ending 20 more minutes of cutscenes and not very many glitches, not a lot of glitches, ends here. And so that will be where we stop the gameplay for part 1 of the tutorial.